All right, we say good afternoon to Carmi Levy, CTV tech analyst. We talk tech every Thursday afternoon. I want to start with the story at the bottom of the list because I want to know what this is all about. Look, I keep seeing more and more robots that are being shown off, although there was a video, I don't know if you saw this one, Carmi, a robot getting into a fight. Did you see the one? This is on a Japanese warehouse floor somewhere.
No, but I
Yeah.
mean, this almost sounds like, battle bots, that university kids get into. That sounds like a really cool
This
introduction to
this was
robotics. I'm down
one
for that.
just this one robot on his own or on its own. Whoops. That just kind of went crazy and started flailing and whatever. It's really freaky. But I digress because what I want to talk about is this robot that you wrote in your headline here cooks your meals for you. Please tell me more.
It's called Posha, Posha, and it's not cheap. It's about $1,750
Oh,
American, which is almost 2,500 Canadian without tariffs. But it's really neat. You basically it has a whole bunch of recipes, and then you take the ingredients and you pop them into the machine, and then you press the start button, and then it cooks it for you. It'll add the ingredients in the proper order. It'll mix them. It'll throw them around. The robotic arm sort of does all sorts of different things. It'll cook them to the perfect temperature. It uses machine learning to analyze it as it goes along, so it can tell things like temperature or color or texture, and then it'll adjust the cooking for, sort of what it sees. You can adapt it. If you're missing one ingredient, you can throw in another, and the AI will learn how to do it better for next time. It's actually kind of cool. It's not, if you're really good at cooking, as my wife is, she'll probably scoff at this
of
kind of
course.
thing. But for someone like me, who let's just call me a mediocre cook, I can, keep myself from starving, but that's about it. If you don't want to spend an hour and a half putting dinner together and you want to maybe cut that down to 20 minutes, like you still have to get all the ingredients ready and put them in and follow the recipe, but it does all the heavy lifting for you. And so for a lot of people, that could be an interesting introduction to robotics if it means that you eat better and healthier too. I think a lot of people would be interested in this. They've already sold out their first round, and they're taking pre-orders for their second, and they've attracted millions of dollars in early seed funding. So definitely something to watch.
Okay, while you were talking, I actually went and pulled up the webpage for Pasha, right? Hundreds of recipes help you eat whatever you crave, but the picture I'm looking at looks like it's fairly small. Like this is for one person, I think. You're not cooking for a family in this, right?
Yeah, it is. This is not large scale. This is what I like to call version 1.0. So you try it out at a small scale. They develop the technology as they go along, and then eventually, as it becomes more popular and hopefully cheaper, they'll have larger versions of this as well. So if you're a family of 8, this probably isn't for you. But if you're a family of 1 or 2, and you're just looking for something to make things more efficient in the kitchen, and you have the budget to basically
Yeah.
buy a gadget that is version 1. For a lot of people, that's good enough for them,
But
and
but I will
not for me,
assume that
but
if
for
you're
them.
buying version 1, like everything else, like if you had the rabbit, the little pocket thing,
Yeah.
rabbit, yeah. So again, they keep upgrading and upgrading it. So I'm imagining here you buy this thing to cook your food at home. If you own version 1, there'll be software updates, right? You don't need to go buy a new one.
Yeah, no, you don't. And conceivably, the software gets better. The AI gets
Right.
smarter over time. They'll release software updates to sort of incorporate learnings from everyone else who's using it. These are networked devices. And so, I mean, obviously, at some point, they'll probably have new hardware too, but it's not the end of the line for the version that you buy today. It will get better over time just because it'll learn from the thousands of other people who are using it.
Now I'm going to get off this topic, but I love the idea. And I just, as I was going through their page, they show the dishes that this thing can make, including chicken tikka masala.
I'm down for that.
So am I. So are you telling me that I would like get a recipe for chicken tikka masala, buy the chicken, buy the sauce, and just throw it in this thing and it does the rest?
Yep, that's exactly it. And it'll actually tell you there's an app, and it's got a camera that actually sort of points down on it as it's doing the cooking.
That's
So it'll tell you
crazy.
exactly what state it's at, what it's doing, and how it's adapting. And you can it's very interactive. If you want like a really cool party favor, you invite a couple people over for dinner, and then you make it in this thing. I think you can have like Pasha parties in future. Why not?
This is pretty cool. All right. Certainly once the price comes down, because at 1,700 US, not yet.
A little much for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll cut my own stuff.
Yeah, for now. TikTok in the news, launching something called TikTok AI Alive. What is this about?
So basically what it does, it's called image to video. And essentially what it'll do is it'll take a regular photo, so think a static photo, and it'll turn it into a video. Once you tell it, once you give it a little bit of guidance. And so you can use prompts. And it'll add effects. So it'll add movement. It'll maybe make the clouds move. It'll make, your arms wave, little things like that. It certainly isn't cinematic quality. Everyone can tell that it's AI, but it's just another way that TikTok is trying to create engagement. And so if you don't have a video, but you want it to have a little bit of movement and life to it, this is the way to do it. Interestingly, TikTok is first in the sort of the image to video space, but Snapchat has said theirs is coming soon too.
Okay, interesting. Then there's a story here. Again, some of the things I don't understand. Ghost students are creating what's called an agonizing problem for some colleges. This is in California. What's this about?
Yeah, so, number of colleges in California have noticed that the number of students who sign up for courses and then don't bother showing up afterward, that then have to be dropped, has gone through the roof. In some cases, triple or quadruple the rate that it used to be. And so they're doing some digging, and they're finding out that in many cases, these students did not exist in the first place. They call them ghost students. They're basically created by AI. They're bot students. They're posing as real students, and of course there are humans behind this, but they're using the technology in order to create these virtual students who then are eligible, and this is the perverse part, for financial aid that would otherwise go to actual human students. That's the problem here. They look so real. They fill out the forms, they go to the website. In some cases, they even participate in interviews because they're bots. They're not real, and that's kind of scary. It's happening in California. They're noticing it, and they're trying to address it, but I'm reasonably certain that universities and colleges elsewhere are also encountering this, and we're probably going to be seeing more of it, possibly in Canada as well, in the near future.
It's scarier and scarier all the time. Finally, this. Speaking of AI, it's like everything today is AI on the list, but welcome to what's going on right now. AI use damages professional reputation. So we've both heard, and I think we talked about this on the air one time, right? Lawyers who got caught coming up with presentations or legal arguments and turned out to be AI and not something they had generated. So is this more widespread or more and more widespread now?
It is, and this comes to us from Duke University, and I think it's because of those experiences with lawyers that we're starting to become more aware of it. It's contributing to a stigma around AI that, and according to the research, is if the person that you are doing the work for, so let's say it's your boss or other members of your team, if they know that you've used AI as part of the production process, there's a greater potential for them to think that you are maybe lazy, that you aren't as competent, that you aren't as self-assured, that you didn't really do the work because you allowed the AI to do it. And so basically you're being judged negatively because you added AI tools like ChatGPT into your toolkit and you had the temerity to use them at work. The response to this, they also did additional research here, is that because of this stigma, they're noticing a lot of people increasingly, they're using AI at work, but they're not telling anyone about it. They call this stealth AI because they're afraid that they're going to be looked down upon because they used AI. So it's you're between a rock and a hard place. A lot of companies are saying, hey, we want to use AI so you can be more productive and we can be more competitive, but then employees are being judged in the process. And so which way do you go? You go underground and you just don't bother telling anybody.
Yeah, and it's important to mention as well, right? AI still makes mistakes. It's not perfect, right? So it involves doing some checking, and sometimes it will give you a wrong sort of answer.
Exactly. They call it hallucination or going rogue, or let's call it a spade, lying. And in many cases, it will, for example, cite things that never even happened. And so if you're using AI, I think that the one thing that you need to remember is it could get it wrong, and in most cases it does. So never cut and paste out of ChatGPT into a final version of a document. What you should be doing is checking what comes out of it. You do the fact checking. You make sure that you can confirm where this was sourced from. And if you can't identify the source, don't be using it. Don't trust AI. We're still at a point in its development that it's nowhere close to being perfect, and it could get you into trouble if you don't do your fact checking afterward.
Always good advice. Carmi, thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Aaron.
Take good care.